is Lou Sierra and I'm the Media Specialist at Lifeline Harbour to Hawkesbury, Sydney in Gordon. It is my pleasure to introduce the transitional videos produced by the Veterans Wellbeing Centre Hornsby. We hope you will find these informative and helpful. The following transitional video is an interview with Rebecca from Lifeline Harbour to Hawkesbury, Sydney in Gordon.
Hi Rebecca, I'm George Main from the Veterans Wellbeing Centre at Hornsby. Can you introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about Lifeline and what services you have, please?
Sure, George. My name's Rebecca. I'm one of the counsellors for our centre at Lifeline. We offer a whole suite of services. We have our 13 11 14 number, 24 hours a day for crisis support. We also offer psychological services, one-on-one, personal counselling services, financial services, relationship counselling, and a pro bono lawyer. A part of our psychological services is group therapy, so we offer several groups. We have a suicide bereavement support group for people who have lost somebody that they care about to suicide. We've got the Eclipse group, which is for people who have survived a suicide attempt. We have the Managing Your Mood group, which is to help people learn distress tolerance skills and emotional regulation to manage the ups and downs. And we have our Reach Depression and Bipolar group.
That's a huge suite of services.
Yes.
Massive. I didn't realise that Lifeline would offer that.
Yes, it's not as widely known. We are known for our crisis line.
I'm led to believe you also have some veterans that are using the services at the moment?
Yes, we do have veterans that access our services, our one-on-one counselling and psychological support groups, and of course the 13 11 14 number.
All right. So this could well be veterans who are still serving within the military, as well as veterans who have recently transitioned, or even older veterans like myself might be using the service.
Yes, all veterans are welcome to use our services. We are a free, independent and confidential service.
All right. Rebecca, what would be the signs that you'd be looking for somebody who might need help, or the family might be looking for?
There's often some obvious signs that you can see: excessive drug and alcohol use, or they might be angry outbursts. A person might seem very different to what they normally are. There can also be more subtle signs that somebody might recognise in themselves, or a family member might recognise, where somebody's withdrawing, they're isolating more, they're not finding enjoyment in things that they usually like doing.
I guess the transition process is very difficult, and you would have probably a lot more stresses on a veteran who's leaving the service compared to perhaps some civilians that might be similar to if they change jobs. You might have the same type of issues.
Yes, my understanding, and I imagine there's a lot of pressure on people that are leaving the service. Defence personnel are very used to routine and order. They have lived a certain life and they've been a member of the defence community. To leave the comfort of that, and there is some comfort in that, learning different skills, learning who you are in this new part of your life can be very overwhelming.
Well, how do I get help? I mean, what have I got to do to get some help from Lifeline?
You just call us up. We have intake coordinators that are happy to take your call. They can listen to your story. We do an intake. We can assess where you are with what you're telling us, what support you might benefit from a group, or maybe your finances are more important at that time.
Right.
And we can connect you to the different services.
So you call this an intake person?
Yeah, the clinical intake coordinator, yes.
So they're qualified people to assess you?
Yes.
So they would make the initial assessment on what your needs might be, then they would point you in the right direction or give you the advice that you might be looking for?
Yeah, absolutely. So our clinical intake coordinators are all counsellors, highly qualified, and they can listen to your story and use the information that you give them to work out what would benefit you better. Would you be better with a psychologist or a counsellor? Would one of the particular groups help you with your particular...
And this is all confidential, of course, because I wouldn't want other people to know, especially if I was serving still, that you would keep it between us.
Yes, it's all confidential.
Right,
yes,
okay.
absolutely. It's really important.
Right. Well, one of the reasons for this video is to offer information to veterans who are transitioning, and that's probably the most important part. I know we touched on it a few minutes ago, but what, in your opinion, is probably the most important parts of transitioning from the military to civilian life?
It's about finding your way through that transition, and that can be, I can only imagine how frightening that can be to some to some members of the
Yep.
defence personnel that change. How Lifeline can help with that is we have counsellors and psychologists that can hold a space for you, that can listen, and we work together with our clients, work together with our veterans to help them work out what's becoming so overwhelming and identify those uncertainties.
Because I think you've got to make the veterans realise that they're not on their own and that there is somebody here to help. And I guess asking for help is also very important, and that's probably one of the biggest hurdles. So how do you overcome that?
Yes, it's important to remember that it takes a lot of courage to ask for help, and when people do, it always amazes me. It takes a lot of strength to come forward, but courage is something that veterans know a lot about.
Yeah.
So if take that step, open up, can be very, very challenging, but it's well worth doing.
I would imagine so, because being an ex-veteran myself, I guess sometimes because you've been in the military, you're kind of taught it's not mine to reason why, but mine to do and die. Mine not to think about things, to plan for me. Then all of a sudden I've got to come out and start asking for help. And I find that very uncomfortable, but I guess you would have means or processes involved that would help the veteran through that first initial step.
Yes, and I think the first step is just to talk about it,
Yep.
to say, because that is something that's a big change for the military. You
Yep.
have to find your own health funds, your own
Yep.
Medicare cards, your own paperwork. Can
Exactly,
be even
yeah.
just seemingly small things can
Yeah.
feel very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess you're here to help. And again, you mentioned the fact it's confidential, so that would give you some encouragement to come forward and to speak to Lifeline.
Yes.
I mean, is there anything else that you could put towards the transition process?
Put towards the transition process.
Or advice you might be able to offer someone transitioning?
Advice would just be to not be afraid
Yeah.
to step forward and ask for that help.
I
to
guess
ask for
that's the
support.
key, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, and that is the biggest step. But once you've taken that step forward, when you build a rapport and a relationship with a counsellor, they can help you.
Yeah.
You've already got the answers inside of you
Yeah.
a lot of the time. The counselling and the psychology just helps to bring that forward, helps
point,
you
yeah,
realise
yeah.
what the
Okay.
strengths that you already have.
Yeah. Okay. Rebecca, how do I access the information I need here at Lifeline of Gordon?
To access Lifeline's Veterans Mental Health and Wellbeing Service, please visit our website or you can call or email us. The contact details will be available at the end of the video.
Rebecca, thank you very much on behalf of the Veterans Wellbeing Centre at Hornsby for your clear explanation and information on what's available at Lifeline. Thank you, Rebecca.
I was in my 40s, my career was going well, we didn't have any kids, and I started thinking about doing something in the community. That's when I joined Legacy. In the past 20 years, really it's given me deep joy, great satisfaction, and I guess other than when I got married, it's probably the best thing I've ever done in my life.
I became a legatee because my mum lost her dad in the Second World War when she was only 10. She was one of 3. And she grew up in a country town called Bathurst, and Legacy came in and helped out with a lot of things. They used to have, I remember her telling me, they used to have Christmas celebrations. I think they even helped out with my auntie's braces when she had them. So later on, about a fair few years back now, our business started to get involved with Legacy, and I had the chairman from Bankstown Division come in and ask me if I wanted to get more involved, and I thought, why not? So yeah, I thought I'd give back to Legacy with what they helped out with my mum and her family.
Legacy is a genuine family. We work together to support those who need our help.
It's the little things, all the small ways we help support our widows and families.
It's the little things, all the small ways we help support our widows and families.